loves, it's Sam. So today I'm going to show you a trick that has saved my face. So when I was in England, I was visiting with my family, my aunt showed me a trick because her foundation is like just flawless. She always looks perfect. I'm pretty sure she's either almost 50 or in her early 50s. I can't remember which one it was, but she is like, her face looks amazing for her age. And so I was asking her, what do you do as far as your wrinkles? Because this is so frustrating. Like, I'm at that age now where I'm getting I'm getting wrinkles. My foundation gets stuck in it. Foundation tends to accentuate them and it just drives me insane. And she, like, her wrinkles do not look like that. And so she's like, oh my gosh, I have this amazing trick that I learned from her. She learned it from her friend who is Miss England's makeup artist. And this is what he does on Miss England to get her all fabulous looking. So I'm going to share it with you guys today, and this is going to make your foundation stay on longer, look better in the beginning and throughout the day. If you have oily skin, it's going to help with the oil production. If you have wrinkles, it's going to make your wrinkles appear less prominent. If you have big pores, your pores are going to not show nearly as much. It basically just makes your face look like a doll and last like that all day long, like ridiculous amounts of time. When I was in Long Beach, I would put my makeup on at 6:30 in the morning and I wouldn't get back until 11:15 and my face would still look good at the end of the night, which is really hard for me to say because I literally like have the greasiest face in the world and it always looks terrible by the end of the day. So this is what I have been doing with my makeup recently to just make it look fabulous and keep it looking fabulous all day long. I hope you guys find this helpful. It really, really is a game changer as far as foundation goes. It is my new foundation routine. And if you think when you're watching it, oh my gosh, that's gonna be so cakey, that's gonna make my wrinkles look terrible, it doesn't. It is amazing because as soon as she told me how many layers she put on, I was like, what? That's gonna look ridiculous. And I thought, well, maybe she's just awesome. And then I tried it on me and I was like, oh my gosh, it does not look cakey. Like, it seriously is so amazing. So try it. Let me know how you like it. Come back and tell me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. I would love to know how it works for you guys. I don't know if it's the exact products that I'm using, if it'll work with other products, but if you have access to these products, I just say get them because I've been using it with these and it works amazingly. So I can't tell you if it's going to work with other products because I haven't tried them, but it works with this combo. So hope you guys find this helpful. Please give me a thumbs up if you do. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Keep watching. Bye. Okay, so start with a clean face. Put your moisturizer on. And if it's been like immediately, like say you put your moisturizer on and it's still kind of like, you know, dewy or whatever, then you're gonna dust some powder. Now, I put mine on kind of a while ago, so it's already dried into my skin, so I'm not gonna put powder, but if you're doing it right away, put a layer of powder. The next thing you're gonna do is take a primer. I'm going to show you some of the primers that I really love. So the one that I learned this trick on from my aunt was the No. 7 Instant Illusions Airbrush Away Primer. This is an awesome primer. This is really good if you have some fine lines and wrinkles, if you have bigger pores and you really want that silky, like unbelievably perfection finish. This is really good. If you are someone who has acne problems like me, the Jouer Anti-Blemish Matte Primer is really good. It's got a salicylic acid in it. The Cover FX Mattifying Primer with Anti-Acne Treatment is also really good. These are both a really great option if you are someone who has sensitive acne-prone skin. This one is a little bit less like of that silky silicone formula. It's more of a moisturizer feel, whereas this one, the Cover FX, has that kind of silicone-y like primer feel. So it's just a matter of what you prefer. For the video today, I'm going to show you with the No. 7 just because that's how I learned this. This is what my aunt uses, so this is what I want to do. So you take about a, I don't know, pearl size amount, maybe a little bit more, and you're just going to put that all over your face. And this primer, it feels like so silky, but really any primer that you like will work. Just as long as it's kind of like a smoothing, like filling in, you know, like if you have pores, it's gonna fill those bad boys in. Please excuse my skin, it's terrible at the moment. It's like so bad, it's just ridiculous. So then after you put your primer on, the next thing you're gonna do is take a loose setting powder. The one that I have been using is the Max Factor Translucent Professional Loose Powder. It looks like this, you can get it at Boots. Now, if you are in America, NARS, or if you just have these, I mean, they have these in the UK as well. NARS Translucent Light Reflecting Setting Powder works. I've done it with this. I've not tried it with Laura Mercier, but Laura Mercier Loose Setting Powder in Translucent would also work. This is what my aunt uses. I'm just going to show you exactly how my aunt does her makeup because she looks amazing, and that's how I learned this trick. So you've put your primer on. And this is going to seem weird and people are going to be like, oh my god, that's going to look so cakey and gross, and if I'm older it's going to make me look more wrinkled. This is not going to make you look more wrinkled. It is not going to make you look cakey. It does not make you look drier. It literally just makes everything fill in, and it makes you look younger. Like, your skin looks so much better. So what you're going to do is take a big loose brush, and the one that I have been using for it is, oh there it is the Too Faced powder brush. It looks like this, just a big, huge, massive brush. What you're gonna do is take your loose setting powder and you're just gonna dip it in once. And then any excess, you're just gonna kind of just tap off a little so that your brush looks like that. There's barely anything there. You're just gonna very lightly go over your entire face. You're not gonna dip back in twice. You're just gonna make it so that if you have any shine or like kind of dewiness to the skin, you're just getting rid of it so it kind of looks like the shine is gone. So you're just going to apply a very light layer all over your face like that. Next, you're going to apply your foundation. What my aunt's been using and what I started using again was my Estee Lauder Double Wear. So I went off of this makeup for a while because it's making my wrinkles look terrible. And then I started using this trick and it is amazing. It lasts all day long. It doesn't break apart. It looks really, really good, and with doing this trick, it does not make my wrinkles look crap. So the color that I have is 3N1. I've been applying it with my fingers. This is how my aunt does as well, and I feel like by applying it with the fingers, it puts the perfect amount of product onto your skin without getting cakey or look like it's too heavy. By using your fingers, it almost like melts into your skin and just looks so much it just looks really natural, and it really works well with the wrinkles. I found that when you use a brush or even a beauty blender and you have wrinkles, you still get extra product stuck in them, and that's when they start to like sink in and get all cruddy. So I just put one, I'm just basically just going like this, one, and then kind of like a half a one on my forehead just because I don't want too much product because that's where my wrinkles are the worst. And then with my finger, I'm just going to scoop any extra that's around the bottle just so that it doesn't get all messy. I'm just going to start rubbing that in right with my fingers. And it really does give you a nice amount of coverage without being too much or too heavy looking. And ever since I started using this foundation with the primer, I say if you have this foundation, definitely use it with a primer, because the difference from when I used to use it to now is humongous. So I basically just rub it in all over my face, bring it down to my delightful neck zits. They're beautiful right now. But you can see this is a full coverage foundation, and when you use your fingers, it still gives you a full coverage without being too heavy on the skin. Now, because I have a lot of breakouts, I will show you what I do for those darn things. So you can see how that foundation has a nice matte finish. So then all you're gonna do is again take a very light layer, just one touching of the brush, and just kind of very lightly go over everything again. Now for my concealer, I'm obsessed with this stuff. It's amazing. This is the English version or UK version. You can also get it in America. It's in a wand applicator. This is the SuperStay Better Skin. I have the color 02 Light Clair. This concealer is amazing. It is so good. It does not break apart. It does not look cruddy towards the end of the day. It does not make your pores look big. It does not get greasy. It is so lovely. I just am obsessed with it. It doesn't settle into your fine lines and wrinkles. Honestly, I like it better than my NARS. I know that's crazy because you guys know how obsessed I am with my NARS. Like once I found my NARS, I like couldn't switch to anything else. But this is insane. Like it is so unbelievable. It's just ridiculous. So I just kind of create a lifted look underneath my eyes. Then I take a beauty blender and blend that all out. And this concealer is nice because it does like sink into the skin really quickly. So you don't have to do a whole lot of blending because it is such a lightweight product. It just kind of automatically blends in and then you just kind of have to just touch it up a little more. Now I get my NARS translucent setting powder. This is the light reflecting. This is really great for under the eyes because it's a very brightening powder and it has a very kind of like silica, like it fills in everything. So it's really good for setting your under eye makeup for lines and for any big pores. Like this is where my pores are the biggest. I use a Morphe brush. This is the Morphe MB23. Now you guys know I've used Sigma for a really long time, and while I still do love some of the Sigma brushes, I have quickly become obsessed with the Morphe. I find them to be a lot softer, like especially the ones that you're using like around the delicate areas of your face. The brushes are just a lot more gentle on your skin. Like they feel so soft and silky. So I just kind of work in circular motions, really buffing it in under there because it really makes a huge difference. Basically anywhere that you have bigger pores, that's where you put it. And in my wrinkles, because it kind of helps to plump up the wrinkles a little bit, like fill them in. It's basically like a little powder filler. I take it across my lip. And then last but not least, I buff it onto my forehead wrinkles. And it really just helps to get those darn things gone. Then, I know this seems a lot, but it's such a light layer. I just take another, now with this, I do take a little bit more, but I basically, everywhere that I didn't put the NARS, I just kind of buff it into my skin, just to kind of set the rest of the makeup. So then I put my eye primer on. I use the Smashbox 24-hour primer. I love this stuff, it's really good. And it just kind of helps to get rid of any discoloration on your eyes, make it a little bit more even, and then helps it so that your eyeshadow does not crease. And it's super slippery at first and you're like, this is not good. But then it dries to kind of like a nice like tacky finish. So don't be scared when you first apply it and you're like, this is super slippery, this is not gonna happen for me. For contouring, I like to use, where is it? The Becca Mineral Bronzing Powder. This thing is so mangled, it's ridiculous. It's basically just a nice dark matte bronzer. It's broken. So I just get whatever's on the lid. And then I just like to contour with that very lightly. And I try to keep it up quite high just because my cheekbones are already kind of high anyway ever since I've had my Invisalign. So I don't want to do too much. But I do around my temples. And then the top of the forehead, around the sides. I also like to do underneath my jaw. Underneath the lip, to make your lips look a little poutier at the bottom. Just creates a shadow. And then down the sides of my nose. Then with a brush with just nothing on it, the powder brush, I just kind of like to just blend anything out. For my blush lately, I have been absolutely obsessed with my NARS Fervor, and this is so beautiful. They're pricey, but it's worth it. I use the burgundy, so I dip it into the burgundy first, and then I go into the peachy pink, and then I just kind of apply that to my apples. For a while, I was applying it to the backs of my cheeks, because I watched Wayne Goss like super long ago, and he said, don't apply blush to your apples, so I didn't. And then I felt like as my face was changing for Invisalign, it was making my face look a little bit too harsh. So I've gone back to applying it to my apples and then just kind of like barely feathering it up to the top. It just gives me more of a softer look. And then I like to brush off my brush and then just dip it back into that pinky color and just really like get that on the apples. And it just gives a really gorgeous sheen to the skin. For my highlight, I'm obsessed with this. This is called the Glow All Out from Soap and Glory. I got this in the UK. I don't believe that it's available in the US. I'm really sorry, but any highlighter that you like will be just fabulous. NARS also has a really, whoops, Jubilation is really good. I've also been really liking that. It's more of a kind of champagne-y gold. But any highlight that you like. This is just a, ooh, this is really pretty because it has a nice like pink tone to it. I take the Sigma E40 and I just place that all along the highest point of my cheeks. And I, again, buff that in. I'm like all into buffing stuff in right now because I feel like it just looks really, really airbrushed. And you can see how that gives like a gorgeous, like pinky glow. Do you see that glow? Oh, it's so pretty. Then the last thing I do is take my ColourPop Cosmetics highlight, well, I guess there's this Super Shock blush, Super Shock cheek, sorry. This is in the color Spoon, and it is so beautiful, and this is what I use to highlight my nose. So I just take a tiny little bit on my ring finger, I pop that right on my Cupid's bow, and then whatever's left, I just do it on the tip, and then right on the kind of bridge of my nose, but not all the way down, just kind of right there and right there, and it just kind of lifts your nose and just kind of makes it look a little bit like, I don't know, I like the way it looks. Then the last step, now you can see I still have, because we used that lighter layer of foundation with our fingers, you will probably still have some little blemishes that are showing. So you're going to take a little brush like this. This is the Morphe E35. I love it. It's awesome. I don't know if you guys can see. I can't see that far. You're going to take your foundation, and what you're going to do is just along the edge, if you feel like, oh, that's unsanitary, put some on your hand. But I like to just take it on the little edge here. And anywhere that you still see a bit of darkness, so like this darn thing, you're just going to touch over it with that brush. You're going to apply the most product to where it is the darkest, the center, and then you're just going to very lightly feather it out around the edges so that it blends. These darn things right here, those can go, and it's basically just like taking a little eraser. You have to get a really good double chin, that's how you see it when you have jaw zits. It's delicious. Like really, who breaks out on their jaw and neck at this age? Ridiculous. And in my opinion, this is all about the brush. Because it's all about the brush, no finger. Because you can really do such a light touch with it that it looks so like natural. This one's kind of cruddy right here. And then I'm just gonna take that little Morphe brush with the Max Factor powder and just barely just dot over those just to make sure that they are set. Now obviously they're not going to be completely invisible. I mean, they're still zits. You're still going to be able to, like, you know, you're going to know they're there. But they're just, from like first looking at someone, it's going to blend in with the skin a lot better. And that is everything I do for my foundation routine. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what everything looks like once my face is all done. Okie dokie, so here is the finished result with all of my all of my makeup done, and you can see it just creates a really flawless looking foundation. It doesn't look cakey like in real life. I don't know, it's hard to tell when you guys, you know, when you're on camera with all these great lights. But in real life, it looks airbrushed. The pores are smaller. The wrinkles on my forehead do not show, like, I mean, obviously I can still see that I have a little bit of wrinkles, but it's not deep. They don't look like super duper, you know, they're like very just subtle. This doesn't look nearly as exaggerated. The under eyes look nice and just flawless and pore free and wrinkle free. You will see the difference in your face right off the bat, and then you will also see the difference at the end of the day when you look in the mirror and your makeup is still looking so beautiful. You're not nearly as oily, you don't have any kind of blotchiness or your foundation breaking apart. Like, it really just looks so much better. I don't know what it is about it, but it does not look cakier, it does not look drier, and it will not make your wrinkles look worse, ladies. It makes them look better. It fills them in. I hope that's helped. If you give it a try, please let me know. If you feel like this is an interesting video, that you've never heard about this tip before, please share it. It's always nice to find new people to watch me. I would really, really appreciate your guys' help with sharing this on either Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want to do. That would be a really amazing thing. Or even if Pinterest, you want to pin it. Thank you guys. I love you. Thank you for watching. Bye.